"Don't come inside with me, people will find it strange," she told me as we pulled up in front of her workplace celebration. I brought the vehicle to a halt and allowed her to step out. She chuckled, labeled me overly touchy, and headed in. I headed back to our place, gathered my belongings into bags, and placed a short message behind. I didn't wish to create any awkwardness. She returned home quite late, slightly drunk and cheerful, discovered the bare wardrobe, and began phoning me in tears. I'm a 28-year-old guy, sitting in my vehicle outside the Meridian Hotel with the motor still on, observing my partner Sarah enter alone through the transparent entrance. A couple of hours afterward, I was settled in another lodging room on the opposite side of the city, while she rang my line 17 times consecutively. Our relationship had lasted 2 full years. We lived together in a flat, divided expenses evenly, and even discussed adopting a pet dog someday. I believed I understood our position clearly. I believed we were constructing something meaningful and lasting. Yet that evening, while stopped in the lot near her firm's end-of-year event, Sarah faced me and uttered the phrase that finished everything. "Don't come inside with me, people will find it strange." I brought the vehicle to a halt. The parking attendant was already nearing us. Sarah gave a light, easy laugh, as though she'd merely commented on the climate. "You're acting far too sensitive," she remarked, already pushing her door open. "It's simpler like this." She exited, adjusted her outfit, and proceeded indoors without a backward glance. The attendant inquired whether I planned to remain. I replied no and drove off from the entrance. What Sarah remained unaware of was that I'd been quietly tallying incidents for several weeks. How she consistently avoided sharing any images featuring both of us. How she presented me as merely a pal to her superior at the supermarket. How none of her office colleagues knew my name despite our 2-year commitment. I traveled back to our residence in utter quiet. No tunes playing, no audio show. Only the rhythmic click of my indicator at each turn. By the moment I arrived at our building's parking area, the choice was final. I entered our sleeping quarters and retrieved my travel bag from the storage space. I gathered my garments, computer, power cable, and the timepiece passed down from my dad. I'd removed myself from the rental agreement half a year earlier when Sarah expressed a desire to strengthen her financial record. Legally speaking, I'd already departed. My physical presence simply hadn't followed until now. I placed my key beside a brief message scribbled on an old shopping list scrap in the kitchen. I didn't wish to create any awkwardness. Then I booked a room at a nearby Comfort in about 20 minutes distant, switched my device off, and drifted to sleep. Sarah arrived back just past 12. I learned this because, upon reactivating my phone the following morning, I saw 43 unanswered calls, 18 voice recordings, and 62 written notes. The initial recording sounded casual, perplexed. "Hello, where have you gone? Did you turn in early?" The next grew frantic. "Why are all your things missing from the wardrobe? What's happening?" By the 7th recording, tears filled her voice. "Please reach out. I can't figure this out. Let's discuss it properly." I removed them entirely without hearing the remaining portions. In hindsight, warning signs had appeared repeatedly. I simply convinced myself I was reading too much into things. Our first meeting occurred at a friend's outdoor cookout during summer 2 years prior. Sarah held a position in promotions at a medium-scale technology business in the city center. I handled operations at a transport company on the western edge. Our fields differed, yet we connected easily. She possessed humor, intelligence, and drive. Those qualities drew me in. She appeared authentic. After 3 months, we decided to cohabitate. Her agreement was concluding. Mine still had 60 days remaining, and combining resources seemed logical. We located a single-bedroom unit in a reasonable district for $1,200 monthly. I covered the initial payments. She managed the service connections. It resembled true partnership. It resembled forward movement. However, subtle issues began surfacing near the half-year point. She organized a welcome gathering and asked 12 guests. I recognized only 3. The others belonged to her workplace circle and old university acquaintances. I passed the night chatting with unfamiliar faces inside the space I called home. When her manager arrived, a tall individual called Richard from senior leadership, Sarah referred to me as her housemate. I stood directly beside her, gripping a drink, dressed in the top she'd purchased for my birthday celebration. "Oh, meet my housemate," she stated, motioning loosely toward me. Richard grasped my palm and inquired about my duration there. I answered 3 months. He gave a nod and shifted to converse elsewhere. Later, once the crowd departed, I drew Sarah to the side. "Why label me your housemate?" She stood at the sink loading plates. "Facing away, did I? I can't recall. You absolutely did. Directly in front of your manager." She pivoted, irritated. "Fine. I prefer separating professional and private matters. No need to exaggerate." I let the topic fade, yet it lingered uncomfortably inside me for days afterward. Then a similar incident occurred at the fitness center 3 weeks on. We encountered her colleague Jenna near the drinking station. Jenna radiated warmth and cheer, the type who memorizes names effortlessly. She greeted Sarah with a wave. "Wow, I had no idea you joined here." Sarah returned the smile. "Correct, signed up recently." Jenna glanced toward me. "Hello there. Are you Sarah's partner?" A brief silence followed, perhaps 2 heartbeats, but I sensed its weight. "This is my workout buddy," Sarah explained. We exercised together occasionally. Jenna offered a courteous grin and remarked it was pleasant to cross paths. Once she departed, I questioned Sarah about the introduction. "What introduction?" "Calling me your buddy." She exhaled as though I drained her patience. "Explaining our full situation to someone I hardly interact with feels complicated. Why does it bother you so much?" I lacked a strong reply, thus I dropped it. Next arose the online presence issue. Sarah shared updates frequently, breakfast shots alongside female friends, workout mirror captures. Coastal getaways on weekends. Her profile showcased a polished version of existence, yet I appeared nowhere, not a single instance. I never craved endless public approval digitally. Still, after 12 months, the omission began feeling intentional. One evening during television time, I brought it up. "Why do you avoid including me in any posts?" Her gaze remained fixed ahead. "I prefer maintaining privacy around my romantic side. It carries deeper significance that way." The explanation appeared logical. I accepted it. But gradually, I noticed her office associates lacked even basic knowledge concerning me. Once, her department arranged drinks after hours on a Thursday, and she extended an invitation my way. We joined them at a local pub. A fellow called Derek, someone Sarah referenced often, asked about my occupation. "Supply chain coordination," I replied. "Operations in transport." He appeared startled. "Really? I assumed you pursued advanced studies or similar." I looked toward Sarah. She busied herself with her screen. "No, I've held this role for 5 years now." Derek inclined his head gradually. "Interesting, odd. I distinctly recall Sarah mentioning studies. That evening I inquired how he formed that impression." She lifted her shoulders. "No clue." "Perhaps I casually noted you considered it once." I'd never discussed further education with her. Never. The decisive moment arrived 14 days prior to the celebration. Sarah's employer hosted an off-site team retreat at a remote lodge. Staff members could include a guest. Husbands, wives, committed partners. The invitation explicitly permitted it. She excluded me. I discovered this via an open message on her computer screen left unattended. "Hey," I remarked while entering the main area. I noticed the message regarding the lodge getaway. She glanced upward from her device. "Right, simply an office activity." It mentioned bringing someone along. She paused momentarily. "I realize, but it might appear overly romantic." "I prefer concentrating on professional connections." I gazed steadily at her. "Professional connections, exactly. You understand, strengthening team bonds, crucial for advancement." I yearned to question how my attendance would disrupt that. I yearned to question whether shame kept me hidden. But I stayed silent, merely nodded and retreated to the other room. I strove to avoid becoming that insecure individual, the one demanding reassurance constantly, the one centering everything around himself. Yet 2 weeks afterward, observing her stride into the gathering as though I held no presence, I understood this wasn't insecurity. This was erasure. The festive gathering was meant to differ. Sarah discussed it eagerly for weeks. She purchased a fresh outfit at an upscale retailer. Rich emerald shade accented by metallic trim. She arranged manicure services. Booked a styling session that same afternoon. Her enthusiasm showed clearly. Mine matched hers. I hoped this occasion might finally allow proper introductions to her colleagues. To receive acknowledgement as her committed partner. To sense inclusion rather than lingering in obscurity. We prepared side by side that evening. I chose a charcoal jacket paired with a pale azure collared shirt. She selected the emerald outfit and metallic footwear. We complemented each other well. I even captured a mirror reflection of us prior to departure, her resting against my frame, both wearing genuine smiles. That image became our final shared capture. The journey toward the venue proceeded ordinarily. Conversation touched her supervisor, the complimentary beverages, how her group might overindulge and create memorable moments. She radiated contentment, at ease. At one traffic signal, she even extended her palm and pressed mine gently. "Appreciate you joining tonight," she murmured. I returned the gesture, naturally. Yet upon reaching the valet area at the Meridian, her demeanor altered abruptly. She gazed toward the doorway, then toward me. Back toward the doorway, her expression dimmed. She inspected her device. Shifted her restraint. "Listen," she began. Her tone grew cautious. "Would it bother you to let me enter ahead?" I creased my brow. "Explain further." She offered a smile lacking warmth. "Simply avoid accompanying me inside. Others might consider it odd." The attendant waited roughly 10 feet distant. Nearby, a pair strolled by, chuckling with linked arms. "Odd in what sense?" I pressed. She gave another laugh, dismissing my concern with a gesture. "You realize, like wondering why some unfamiliar man appears. This is office-related. I wish to prevent discomfort." Those words struck coldly. Unfamiliar man. For 24 months, I'd shared life with this woman. Each month, I contributed $600 toward housing on schedule without fail. I purchased household provisions, prepared evening meals 3 evenings weekly, repaired our leaking lavatory fixture using online guidance and tools from a local hardware outlet. Endured 6 months of her venting regarding Derek in finance, yet I qualified as unfamiliar. "Sarah," I stated deliberately, "I am your committed partner." She exhaled sharply, already swinging her exit wide. "I understand, yet you're overreacting here. No major issue. Meet you shortly inside." She exited fully. The attendant assisted with her side. She straightened her attire, glanced at her image in the vehicle's glass, and advanced toward the entry without turning. I remained motionless perhaps 15 seconds, palms fixed on the steering, motor humming. Then I shifted into gear and departed. No acceleration, no loud audio, no outreach to others. Merely silent travel homeward. Along our familiar daily path, beyond the usual Sunday breakfast cafe, beyond the green space we strolled last spring, until an inner stillness settled completely. Rage didn't fuel it, nor sorrow. Clarity did. For 2 years, I'd fabricated justifications on her behalf. I'd persuaded myself her actions stemmed from eccentricity, discretion, or personal limits. I'd reasoned certain individuals dislike overt affection. Certain individuals prioritize seclusion over digital exposure. Yet reality cut cleaner and deeper. Shame motivated her. Perhaps unintentionally, perhaps unconsciously. The evidence formed an unbreakable chain. I sufficed for sharing housing costs, for sharing a bed, for handling repairs and offering an ear during difficult moments. Yet I fell short when visibility mattered. I parked at our designated space, 14B, and ascended to the unit. The main area carried lingering traces of her scent, something blossomy and costly. Her office footwear rested near the threshold, the dark pumps worn daily. The ceramic cup I'd gifted on her special day, bearing her cherished phrase, remained half-filled atop the surface. I moved to the sleeping area and withdrew my luggage from the upper cabinet. Packing occurred swiftly and deliberately. Apparel, personal care items, computer, power supply, athletic footwear, the novel resting bedside, nothing jointly owned came along, no kitchenware. No seating, no framed memories, no volumes acquired together from the second-hand bookshop. I positioned my key beside the ceramic cup and inscribed a single line on a pharmacy slip. Didn't wish to create any awkwardness. Then I exited, secured the entrance, and deposited the key inside. I secured lodging at a modest comfort off the main route. The desk attendant, an exhausted lady perhaps mid-50s, posed no inquiries. Cash covered 3 evenings, and I ascended to suite 214. Perched on the mattress rim, eyes fixed on bare plaster, I deactivated my device. After 2 years, true solitude enveloped me, and solitude surpassed invisibility. Update 1. I powered my phone again at 7 the following morning. Notifications flooded the display one after another. 43 missed rings, Everyone hers, 18 voice notes, 62 messages. I prepared instant brew using the miniature hotel appliance and began reviewing. Early texts conveyed bewilderment. Where did you disappear to? Did you skip the event? Upset with me? Reply soon. Then tone shifted, just arrived back. Wardrobe cleared out. What's really happening? You actually departed. Is this genuine? Panic surfaced next. Reach me, please. I failed to grasp your reasoning. We should converse maturely. Recordings intensified. I activated the opening one aloud beside my mug. Her tone sounded fragile, bewildered, nearly youthful. Hello, it's me. Home now uncertain of your location. Belongings vanished. Something occur? Contact me. The following grew intense, more edged. Seriously, where exactly? Wardrobe bare. Oral care item missing. You departed, no prior indication. This feels insane. By the 7th, sobs broke through. Forgive me, all right? Unsure what mistake occurred, but forgive me. Simply return so discussion becomes possible. Please, I erased everything unfinished. Then I restricted her contact. The remaining hours passed at a nearby eatery called Rosie's. Booths upholstered red, servers topping off mugs unprompted. I chose breakfast cakes and browsed housing options digitally. 2 years of $600 contributions had quietly accumulated reserves. A compact unit lay within reach, perhaps even larger if avoiding central zones. Evening brought 3 scheduled inspections for tomorrow. My device vibrated. Unknown sender. Sarah utilizing office line. Aware you restricted me. Kindly converse. I cannot fathom your actions. What grave error did I commit? I contemplated the words extensively, then composed one reply. You preferred avoiding awkwardness. I obliged. That line received restriction 2. Update 2. 72 hours afterward, I committed to a compact residence in peaceful Maplewood, 20 minutes from employment. Modest size, roughly 400 square feet, featuring basic cooking area and tiny lavatory. Yet polished wooden surfaces and generous panes welcomed dawn illumination. Spotless, economical. Solely mine. I transferred possessions using twin travel cases plus a convertible sofa acquired online for $80. The seller assisted loading and inquired about relocation to urban zones. I clarified no, merely restarting. He acknowledged understanding, hardly luxurious, yet my initial solo dwelling in 2 years carried liberation. Sarah persisted. Various lines rang. Extended electronic letters arrived, packed with inquiries, regrets, and blame. She claimed confusion regarding her fault. She labeled my response excessive. She insisted we'd constructed shared existence, now discarded over triviality. I scanned each once, then stored silently. Precisely 7 days post-departure, she appeared at my workplace. Visible from the lobby, positioned beside my vehicle, limbs folded, hair secured. Exhaustion and irritation marked her. I reversed course instantly and re-entered. I informed leadership of urgent personal matters and shifted to remote tasks that week. Her correspondence intensified in urgency. I cannot comprehend your silence. You departed without clarification. Am I unworthy of understanding my mistake? I nearly answered that particular one, nearly detailed 2 years of suppressed observations, yet refrained, because she comprehended already. She recognized each instance of housemate labeling, each image excluding me, each separation from professional spheres. She recognized, merely never anticipated my exit. 14 days post-move, Jenna, Sarah's gym acquaintance, messaged. Hello, learned of your separation, wanted to express regret. For perspective, Sarah always acted strangely regarding you. Barely referenced a partner until roughly half a year back, and even then minimally. Wishing you well regardless. I examined the note extensively. Half-year mark, 2 years together total. Meaning 18 months prior she presented as unattached at work. I appreciated her message and inquired casually why secrecy prevailed. Reply arrived shortly. Frankly, attention appealed greatly. Numerous workplace mails flirted regularly, mentioning you eventually reduced that. She preferred single status perception, harsh perhaps, yet my observation. I reviewed thrice. Then shut conversation, donned athletic gear, and completed 6 miles outdoors. Update 3. 30 days post-departure, Sarah ceased outreach. Letters halted. Random number rings ceased. Mutual acquaintance Chris mentioned relocation nearer her workplace downtown. She removed my online follow. I reciprocated. I adapted to fresh patterns. attended employment. Returned to compact residence. Prepared straightforward suppers, noodles, poultry, greens. Engaged literature long postponed. Morning jogs preceded shifts. I inhabited surroundings free from worthiness doubts. Quiet prevailed, occasional solitude surfaced, yet authenticity defined it. One weekend midday grocery shopping brought Richard, Sarah's former supervisor, into view. He identified me promptly. "Hello, Sarah's partner, correct? Or perhaps housemate earlier?" I offered courteous grin. "Partner, separation occurred recently." Genuine astonishment showed, regret hearing that, unaware you two shared partnership. She rarely discussed private matters professionally. I inclined head, precisely the difficulty. He chuckled uncomfortably, wished well-being. I expressed thanks and continued, yet exchange lingered. Even leadership remained uninformed. 2 years passed without acknowledgement, not privacy-driven secrecy, options preservation secrecy, final resolution. 4 months elapsed since that kitchen message. Maplewood Studio remains home. Purchased firm mattress, compact seating, side surface from retailer, displayed photographs. Maintained living greenery miraculously surviving. Home gradually emerges. Sarah and I exchanged no words since departure evening. Chris relayed new relationship. Office colleague. Details avoided. Unwanted, thoughts of her diminished greatly. Occasionally emerald attire in displays recalls celebration. Occasionally Meridian Drive recalls parking vigil. Sensation dulled compared to before. Weeks earlier, application matched me with Rachel. Elementary educator possessing canine biscuit. 2 outings occurred. Beverage venue initially, followed by Asian cuisine she suggested. During second meeting, she shared captured moment from beverage location. Spontaneous laughter shared. She applied identifier linking me. I studied publication extensively. Minor gesture. Captured image. Link. Open confirmation of presence, yet carried validation of existence. A value, I approved it. She grinned, viewing alert. Acceptable, can remove if preferred, unasked initially. I declined, no, absolutely right. She extended palm across surface and clasped mine. Excellent, pride accompanies visibility with you. Warmth expanded within. Yeah, I replied, likewise. That evening occasionally resurfaces. Vehicle stationary outside Meridian. Observing Sarah pass glass threshold as disposable. Sensation of required diminishment to occupy margins. Yet diminishment refused. Departure chosen. 4 months onward, coffee venue seating beside individual desiring universal awareness of my presence. Certain voices claim affection requires concession. Requires central agreement. Requires boundary respect. Possibly accurate. Yet accuracy also lies elsewhere. You deserve never pleading for pride. Never questioning introduction worthiness. Never experiencing secrecy within partnership. Lesson absorbed in hotel-adjacent parking area, observing cherished individual feign non-existence. That evening I returned residence. Collected possessions, departed 2 years of obscurity, never glanced rearward.